Christine, before we get you up here, Art Turner's just come in the door, and I'd like to give him a chance to come up and talk. He's running for Lieutenant Governor, I do believe. And you are Representative Art Turner. Welcome to Kent County.
Let me start by saying good afternoon, and I apologize for not being here at 2 o'clock, but this is one big state, and we're doing our best trying to cover as much ground as we can. My name is Arthur Turner. I'm a state representative for the 9th District. The 9th District takes in all the west side of Chicago. It goes from Cicero Avenue down to Greektown, from Cermak north to Chicago Avenue. I've been a state rep in that area, and have that area and the western suburbs of Oak Park, Berwyn, and Cicero for the last 29 years. When I was elected 29 years ago, I was the youngest African-American male ever elected to serve in state government. I now serve as the Deputy Majority Leader in the Illinois House, and I have been for the last 20 years. The campaign staff and others have discussed, well, maybe you shouldn't tell people how long you've been in office because that could be a bad thing. I tell people I've been in there for 29 years, and if you haven't heard of me, that means I haven't been stealing. I don't cuss people out. You know, chances are I'm doing the right thing, and so I also let people know that I've served under 5 governors, and so I'm seeking the role of lieutenant governor. One, not that I anticipate that I will be automatically moving to that spot, because that's only happened once in 100 years. So that's not my rationale for running for this position. But I do realize that the executive branch and the legislative branch have not been talking for the last 6 to 8 years, and that in itself is a travesty. I have a proven track record in terms of being able to work with both sides of the aisles. Most recently, in the last 2 weeks, I received the endorsements of both Chicago major newspapers, the Chicago Tribune and the Chicago Sun-Times. They're my colleagues who say that in itself is a feat, but the one thing they both say is that I'm honest, I'm hardworking, I'm a good listener, and one who can work with all members of the General Assembly. And I think that that's an important attribute at this point, because that's what it's going to take to move this state forward in terms of bringing jobs back to this state, in terms of just dealing with good old-fashioned being Illinoisans. I tell people Illinois is one state. It's not just the city of Chicago and the taste of Chicago, but there is the Fox River, there is White Pines, there is Shenandoah Forest down in southern Illinois. And I think that that's what we need to be promoting at this time, and that's one of the responsibilities for the lieutenant governor. He's also responsible for our waterways here in this state. We've got an $8 billion sports and commercial fishing industry right now that is on the verge of being shut down because of the Asian carp. I do believe that I have the wherewithal in terms of trying to address that issue. I know most of my colleagues in neighboring states. Michigan has, of course, term limitations, so I'm learning every 6 years who their new legislators are, but I know the ones from Iowa, Indiana, Missouri, and our other neighboring states. Lastly, the lieutenant governor is an advocate. The late Senator Paul Simon described this position as a position where you can represent the disenfranchised. I've done that for 30 years. More importantly, I want to promote volunteerism. I've had 2 staff persons since I started this campaign last June who now have full-time jobs because they were volunteering in my campaign. I tell people volunteering can be a step towards employment, and it's something that we need while we try to figure out how we get out of this $13 billion deficit that the state is in. And I'll shut up with this, I use the example of Boy Scout troops. I'm the chairperson for the Western Trails fundraiser. There are 20 troops on the west side of Chicago. When we talk about what's wrong with our kids today, when I was growing up, there was a troop in every parish or in every church. And I'm certain that those numbers are true as I go around the entire state. We don't have people who are volunteering and who are trying to reach back and help their neighbors while we move through. There's food pantries, there's all kinds of things that we can be volunteering for. And that's what I want to promote as the next lieutenant governor, in addition to just making certain that the legislative branch and the executive branch communicates together. I have a website called Turner for Illinois. It's the most biased website in the state of Illinois. It tells you everything you need to know about me, and I could go on and on, but I just want to again thank you for allowing me to speak today. I apologize again that I wasn't here at 2 o'clock, but we're trying to cover a lot of space in a short period of time. Thank you again.